Well, hello, my friends. I am actually starting here just a couple of minutes late. There were some technical issues. Good news is right now that we are absolutely and totally live, and I am loving this. So we are about to see the Joy Practices Workshop, and we're going to have a lot of fun today. This is going to be exciting. I'm super excited to share this with you right now. And right now, actually, if I can ask you, if you can see me, if you can hear me, if you can start, if you can just let me know that you can hear me, and also where you're watching from. This is something that is a lot of fun for me to see, like where in the world people are. So if you can do that, I would appreciate it. And just a second, let me turn off the sound of this right here. All right. If you can let me know where you're watching this from, I will get to know that. All right. So I see Lynn Cherry Collins is watching here. You can hear me from Washington, D.C. You are there. So thank you for saying hello to me. Thank you for letting me know. This is going to start, and I am excited about sharing this with you. All right. Arizona, Maryland, Florida, from hot Florida. I am in Texas, and it is also hot. New York City, Pennsylvania. You can hear me but not see. Can you see the screen there with the picture of me and my son on it? I'm hoping you can see that. Facebook is a little problematic sometimes with this. Colorado. All right, Chicago, Pennsylvania, Jacksonville, North Carolina. I used to live close to there at New Bern. Fantastic. All right, Australia. This is officially international. And if you can hear me, if you can see the screen right now with the picture of my son, the amazing Alec, and me, if you can see that screen, give me some hearts there. If you don't mind doing that, that's going to make me feel really good. All right, Gladys from Killeen, Texas. Excellent. You can see this. Fantastic. Okay, so let's get started here, because today, we are hoping to change your life, because I'm about to share with you some things that have profoundly changed my life and made a very, very big difference for me. And I want to share them with you today. And I was talking with Hal this morning, and I said, part of me wishes I had known these practices a long time before I did. All right, we have some folks from UK. It's late there, so thank you for staying up with us here. But part of me is glad that I didn't know them when I did, because I learned these the hard way. And because I learned them the hard way, I think that I can share them with you to hopefully help make a difference in your life. So I'm super excited about this. And this is going to be specific, tangible practices to cultivate joy in our lives. If you are a follower of Hal's, you know that one of the things he preaches often is that we need to change our behavior, and it's not good enough to know about it. So let's see here. I'm hoping more people, as you comment on this and as you watch this, more people are going to be able to see this and come on board for it. So let's get started first. First, I wanted to tell you real quick, this is brought to you by the Miracle Life Mentorship Program. And this is something I'm super excited about. It is something I'm working on with Hal, and it's Hal leading you on a one-year program to take your life to level 10 through weekly trainings, lessons, videos, frameworks, and challenges. And if that's something that appeals to you, if you're excited about this kind of thing, about learning to improve your life and specific ways to do that, then I think you're really going to like the Miracle Life Mentorship. And I'm excited to share that and to create it with Hal. So this is going to be great. So if you can and you're interested in that, you can start right now by just clicking over to a new tab and go to miraclelifementorship.com, and it's just a waiting list. So just to find out more information about it, this is something, it will cost money, but it's going to be very cheap. Hal and I worked on it to make sure that it was not expensive at all. And next month, actually starting in August of 2019, we're going to start a beta program with a very limited number of people in it, and give this a try and make sure that it's working right, that it helps people, And what we're going to do is give a fantastic price for that. But in exchange, we want to get your feedback for it. So this is going to be great. All right, Dion Kinney, I see you there. Thank you for watching this. This is going to be wonderful. So just if you're interested in that, join the waiting list at miraclelifementorship.com. And with that said, you're not going to hear about that for quite a while. But this is it. This is going to feel like you're getting information, like you're drinking water from a fire hose, okay? Because we're about to go over a lot of stuff. I scheduled this for an hour. Honestly, it might last a little bit longer than that, but it's going to be really good information. It's going to be something that you hopefully can take with your life. So here's some best practices. If you have a journal, if you have a way to write this down, please do that. Take some notes on it. I've got my journal here with me. And what I'd like you to do, and we'll talk more about this when we talk about how to apply all of this, is to set a time in your calendar to come back to this. So you can watch this video again. You'll be able to watch this replay and come back to your notes on it. And then here at the bottom, just resolve to try some of these practices. And that's what I'd like you to do. And we'll talk more about how to implement these coming up. But when you resolve to do these, the last part here, and this is what can take something from just being information that you hear to something that makes the biggest difference in your life, and that is scheduling them and putting them in your calendar, like the time that you're going to work on this. So this is going to be fantastic. And by the time we finish this, you will have these in your calendar and ready to work on them. Because this guy, if you know this guy, good looking fella there, he says if you want to change your life, change your schedule. So what we're going to talk about today is adding these joy practices to have a richer, fuller, more abundant life in all ways into your schedule each and every day. So this is wonderful. I'm excited. Yeah, I have some folks here asking if I can send an invite to different folks. If you can invite your friends, you're welcome to do that. If you tag them with it, you should have a function there to be able to share this video. So if you can do that, I would appreciate it. All right, more folks from Australia. Thank you, Colin. It's great to see you here, buddy. So changing your life by changing your schedule. Now, by the time we finish this, this is the outcome of what we're looking at. We will not only have learned several ways to cultivate the joy in our lives, but we're actually doing them in our lives on a consistent basis. And we're going to talk about this a lot because these practices are most effective when they're done consistently. But when they're done consistently, I promise you that it's going to affect and it's going to help your life and it's going to be a lot richer than it is now. And that is why we're here. We want this to make a difference in your life. I've worked hard at this. I studied for it. I prepared for it. And the only reason for that is so it can affect and help your life there. All right. Looks like we have some folks in Slovakia, and I hope you can stay away with this. I'm going to do my best on this. So let's work on that. So the purpose. Why are we doing this? That joy is what life is all about. And consider this for yourself. It's maybe the most important thing. And I've thought about that a lot, and I thought, no, maybe it's service. But you know what? If you're not doing service joyfully, then maybe that's not the meaning of life. So joy is what it's all about. And I think we'll get into this, but a big part of joy is service to other people. We're going to talk about that. And joy can literally be the difference between life and death and a life fully lived. Now, if you think about this, it makes me a little sad to see this picture. This is Robin Williams, and he's looking happy. And we all know what happened to him. Robin Williams had all of the trappings of success, and he had the money, and he had the fame, and he had the impact, and he had the house and the cars, even the family, and yet he chose to end his own life. And I would say that is because he did not have joy in his life. And he might have been happy at times, but he didn't have joy that he could take with him. Okay, and that's why this is so important, to learn about cultivating joy in your own life. Now, Tony Robbins, he says this is one of my favorite quotes from him. He says that success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And if you think about it, the reason you go to work and you earn money and you produce goods and services for other people is obviously it's to put food on the table and it's sustenance. but it's also to experience a life of joy. Yet very, very few people practice that and study it and see how we can do this. Now, this is joy and cultivating joy. I would say, and please let me know if you agree with this right here, that cultivating joy is the very best thing you can do for yourself. And the reason I say that is because it means that you're loving life, and it allows you to serve others that we just talked about. And here's something else. When you serve others, you can pour from a cup that's full. And that makes it joyful for you to help other people. And that in itself makes life even better. And all of you have probably heard about the oxygen mask principle, and that is taking care of yourself before you take care of others. The oxygen mask on airplanes. They always say if in the event the oxygen mask comes down, you secure your own oxygen mask before you help your children. And the reason why is because your oxygen mask is on, you're able to help more people. And that's why joy for yourself is so important with this. And I'm excited to share that with you. But here's the other thing. And this, again, if you have your journal, please write this down because it's so important. Cultivating joy is the very best thing you can do for others in your life. Those people who love and want the best for you want you to be happy. Now think about that. Now I'm going to go into this maybe a little bit, but my son has Down syndrome, 7 years old, and the fella, he is just like the happiest guy in the world. He loves life. He is a joy for himself and for other people. And I remember when he was born, as a parent, I said this to everyone. The thing that's most important to me as a parent is that this boy is happy and that he has a wonderful life and that he appreciates life and he loves that. So having joy is the very best thing that you can do for others in the life. And people that truly love you, that want the best for you, will want you to be happy on an internal level. And I say joy, I don't say happiness per se, but joy. And we're about to discuss the differences with that. And also, when you become joyful, it is an example to other people in your life. And I appreciate y'all, by the way, telling me where you're listening from. Yes, we have some more folks from Texas, so this is great. All right. Now, why don't we already do this? Now, we talk about this. Joy is so super important, but schools do not teach it. And I think that's wrong, but it's not going to change anytime soon for the most part. Churches rarely teach it. Sometimes they talk about joy, but very rarely, it's very rare that they do. And in fact, when I was studying for this and I was getting material on it, there are very few even Google articles about how to cultivate joy in your life. Now, we do have happiness researchers and people like that, and it's kind of a new science, but cultivating joy, very few people tell you how to do it. And maybe that's because we don't often think about it. It's not top of mind. When we wake up, we habitually do over 90% of the things and have 90% of the thoughts the exact same every day. And we don't think to ourselves, how do we create more joy in our lives? It's maybe, again, one of the most important things, but we rarely think about it. And our culture, at least in the US, obviously a lot of people looking at other places here, is often about what we do rather than who we are. You know, when you introduce yourself to someone, they ask, what do you do? And that is not, it's not set up for a joyful life when we do that. So today, really quickly, I'm going to tell you who I am. For those of you who don't know, just a quick story, and I will go through these very quick, so maybe you can relate to this. And then I'm going to give you a framework that you can take with you. This is exciting because if you know the Miracle Morning, the thing that's great about it is, well, one of the many things that's great about it is that it's the savers, and everyone can remember that. It's an acronym that's easy to take with you. And today I'm going to give you a framework for cultivating joy that you can take with you and you can remember with you. And it's how we can cultivate joy consistently in our lives. And then you'll get to practice it yourself and schedule that, which is wonderful. But first, let me ask you, and I want you, if you can put this in the comments below, this would be great. And thank you. Michelle says this is amazing. Thank you, Michelle. And hello back to you from Texas. Here is the commitment I would like. And please consider this. If, and that's a big if, what we go over today makes sense to you, can you just give me your word that you will at least try some of these behaviors? Okay? And if you can, if you write that down in the comments and just let me know, yes, I will try. Yes, I'll do this. But again, only if it makes sense for you, because this is what's going to make the difference in your life. And I want to be here with you when that happens. So just let me know if you're up for that, if you're willing to try these, if they make sense. Okay. Now, first of all, here we go. Yes, we have an absolutely fantastic. Thank you. I appreciate it. This is me up on stage with a microphone. Who am I? I am Chip Franks. Obviously, you can't see me talking to you right now, but I'm looking at the same screen that you are and doing this. Excellent. You're giving me your word. This is great. I'm glad you will do it. First of all, I am a husband to my wife, Laura. I call her Angel. And other than God and myself, that's my most important relationship in life. I am a father to 3, to Mandy, my 19-year-old, to Allie, my 15-year-old, and then I talked about him already, the amazing Alec, who is 7 years old. I'm an author. I just published my first book last year, and I have a new book coming out probably Christmas time, and it's all about these joy practices, which is wonderful. I'm an entrepreneur. I sold my real estate company, and at the height of it, we had about 30 people in our organization, and started doing my own thing with this. And you'll see at the bottom, I've joined Hal on this to do some really cool things in life. I'm a speaker. I have been on the same stages at events with people like Tony Robbins and Damon John and Simon Sinek and some folks like that. And this is fun. I'm a strategist. The last company, I was actually hired by Amazon to train about 100 of their managers on how to do their jobs more effectively. And it included things like having an appreciation practice, which coincidentally enough makes you better at your job. And we're about to get into that, which is great. I'm a student of life. And right now I am Hal's chief miracle worker. And that means it is up to me to help produce content and things that help you in your life and help grow the impact of the Miracle Morning movement and the miracle movement itself. And then I'm also collaborating here with Hal on doing the Miracle Life Mentorship, which we talked about, and I'm super excited about because I think that will make a big difference in the lives of people. Now, just really quickly, my story. Now, about 2014, about 5 years ago now, is I had a fantastic family. I still do. In fact, there's a picture of all of them coming up here soon, and they're pretty wonderful. I'm biased with that. And I had a great business, made good money with it, helped a lot of people in my real estate company. But even with that, I was still in a low-grade extended depression. And I don't know if you've been there before, but I didn't want to get out of bed in the mornings. And life just didn't have a lot of joy for me. It didn't have a lot of appeal. And it seemed like I could check off a lot of the boxes and maybe even look happy on Facebook, with the other shiny, happy people on it. But I just did not have any joy in my life. And what's great about that, and I'm super grateful for it now, because I found a method to get out of that and a way to help other people. And this is kind of what happened with it. And this is just one part of what we're going to talk about in cultivating joy. But I discovered the daily practice and the miracle morning. And what those were practices that made me a better person. And because I was becoming a better person, life got a whole lot better for me. And I'm excited about that. And here's the realization that I had. And, this is probably pretty obvious to some of you, but doing something good for myself and making progress on it, that created momentum, and it got me unstuck in life. And it turned my life of dullness and not having fun to a renaissance in my life. And honestly, that's just one part of what we're about to talk about in the joy practices. And I see that, Margaret, that's where you are right now. You know what? This is for you. And I wish I could reach through the screen right now and give you a hug and just let you know that I've been there and I understand. And I'm so happy that that you're getting a chance to see this and that you'll get a chance to try it, because I promise when you start making progress in your life and you get some momentum and you do some of these practices, it will help you in life. And I'm super excited about that you get a chance to do that. But that momentum, again, it got me unstuck in life. Now, let's actually get started in this and me stopping to talk about the depression and actually starting to talk about joy. There is my beautiful family, my wife, Laura, my daughter, Mandy, and Allie and Alec. That's us in our bathroom gathered around taking a family selfie. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the fundamentals of joy, what it is, what it isn't, and again, to start and how we have joy in our lives. Now, this is something this is a little interesting. I never really thought about this, but there is a difference between joy and happiness. And if obviously you look on the left side of the screen here, happiness is when your emotions are high, and it can often feel moment to moment. A lot of times it's externally triggered. It's like things that are that happen to you that produce happiness. And here's the thing, it's fickle. You know, it's often dependent on circumstance. So if you wake up and it's great weather that day, then boom, you're happy. Or if things are going well with your life and with your wife or husband and your relationship, and you're earning money and you have enough money to cover the bills by the end of the month, or whatever it might be for you, those can make you happy, but the lack of those obviously can make you very sad. And happiness, again, it's kind of outward in nature. And that's just meaning that that there are things that can happen to you for happiness. And they can be things like possessions and time and lifestyle and things like that that can make you happy. Now, here's the really cool thing here. And thank you, Rob. I see that, yes, you're going to try this. If it makes sense to you, that's great. This is what joy is. Joy is lasting, and it's not something that just comes and goes. It's something that stays with you. And rather than being externally triggered, it's something that happens within you, which is just really important. And I put in here, it's portable. You can take it with you. Happiness is something, again, that comes and goes, but joy, it's inside of you. And it's something that's always with you. And happiness, where it says that happiness is often dependent on circumstance, joy shapes circumstance. And if you have true joy in your hearts and you're able to truly appreciate life and able to just savor the blessings of everything in it, then you can make the worst circumstance bearable and even fun. And that's what joy can do for you. And again, joy is inward in nature, and it's a choice. And that's what's so exciting about this, is you can choose joy and you can choose to cultivate it in your life. And we are learning how to do that. So that is the difference between joy and happiness. Now, I've talked about this, but because happiness can be fleeting and it's external and it's often caused by circumstance, and caused by the things in the world, then the things of the world also have the power to take that happiness away from you. And in fact, yay, all right, wrist or bliss to mom, you choose joy. Fantastic. Excellent. Now, here's the problem with this. Like there is something called neural adaptation. And this is actually a phenomenon. If you have ever been living near an airport, for instance, or a train or something like that, and when you first get there, you can hear every single train that goes by. But something happens, and it's a kind of a cool quirk of our minds and the way that it works, is after a while, you stop hearing that train. And your mind just ignores it so you can concentrate on the more important things in life. And that's called neural adaptation. But the same thing happens when happiness happens in our life. Like, we are so used to a certain lifestyle that oftentimes we can take that for granted and we get used to it. And there's a neural adaptation on it. And here's the thing, that joy is something that can be cultivated from within. You bring with you no matter the circumstances. And we just talked about that a little bit here. But to put this in perspective, all right, you can choose joy and you can choose to appreciate things that you have every day. And we're going to talk about that. And to put this in perspective, or a great analogy for you here, is happiness is like a thermometer. okay? And that is, you wake up, you see the weather outside and it's rainy and cold and you don't like it, so you're in a bad mood. But joy is setting the thermostat, and it's not dependent on other things because you are setting the temperature of your own life with that and being able to do that. So that's the way to think about it. Joy is to a thermostat as happiness is to a thermometer. So that is it. And here's one of my favorite quotes. This is by Marcus Aurelius, one of my favorite human beings. If you have not read Meditations, it is fantastic. And he says, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. And this is choosing joy. This is no matter what happens to you, you can choose to be happy in the moments. You can choose to bring that joy with you. And another quote I love from Viktor Frankl, and he wrote Man's Search for Meaning. Fantastic. This man that you're seeing on your screen right now was in a Nazi concentration camp and just suffered brutal abuses and horrible things. And he used that to bless the lives of others, which is really good. And this is what he said. This is the main thing that he took away from his experience there, is that everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, and that is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. And again, that's what we're talking about with joy. That is being able to choose at any time with this. And just something real quick, I get a little philosophical about this, but is finding joy and making that something really important in your life, is it a duty? Is it something that's required of you? And I thought about that, and it is the best thing that you can do for yourself, and it's the best thing you can do for others. But here's what I think, and of course you're welcome to your opinion on this, and you can tell me what you think. But I think that joy, it's having the chance and the ability to create and cultivate joy. It's not a duty, but it's an honor, and it's a privilege. And it's one of the greatest things that we have in life is the dignity and the freedom of choice in our lives, which is just wonderful. So that is it. And we have the honor and the duty to create joy in our lives. And the great news about this is fantastic. I love this because you already have everything you need inside of you to consistently cultivate joy. You don't need possessions. You don't need things, and you don't need a big bank account. You don't need a certain kind of house, a certain kind of relationship. You have everything together right now. And the way you are created, you are a divine being. And you are not deficient in anything. You are not lacking. And it is my fervent belief, and we'll talk about philosophy here shortly, but that you are a perfect person. You are a perfect human being. Now, some of the things that we do aren't perfect, but there is no deficiency in you right now, and you have everything that you need to create joy. So some people might say that you're either born a happy person or you're not. And you know that like certain babies come out and they're just super happy all the time or seem great. And then some people just have a sour disposition on life. But here's the thing, that is not useful. Okay, and if you think that you're bound by that, you probably are. And it's one of those self-fulfilling prophecies. But in my experience, it's not true, because joy can be cultivated. And it reminds me of a quote. This is one of my favorites. And if you're writing this down, it's great. But Henry David Thoreau, he says, I know of no more encouraging fact than the unquestionable ability of mankind to elevate their life through conscious endeavor. And I hope I got that right. I'm doing it out of memory, but it's the same thing with joy. You can create joy through conscious behavior. So now I am about to introduce you to my 4-part framework, and there's Steve Carell from The Office. He's excited about it. I hope that you are excited about this too. So this is good. Now, the 4-part framework, it's very simple, it's very systematic, it's easy to do, which also means it's easy not to do, which my mentor told me. It's easy to remember, and the thing about it, we talked about it a little earlier, it builds momentum in your life. It becomes a habit, and it's easy to share with others. So if you are ready, I'm going to turn the screen, and we're going to go over the 4-part framework of joy. So again, get out your journals, give me some love on the screen here, light it up a little bit, and let's get to this. Dun, dun, dun. Here it is, the 4-part framework for joy. Now this is neat. And here's what I can say. It's like the miracle morning with Hal. Like any one of the savers could make a great morning. People will swear by doing exercise and saying that's the thing, what makes the morning great. Other people say no, meditation is the thing that makes it all awesome. And other people, of course, scribing. I'm a journaler, love journaling. And to me, that's the most important thing. But the thing the miracle morning did, which is great, is it took all of those and made not just a great morning, but a superb, fantastic, unbelievable morning. And that's what I wanted to do with this 4-part framework for joy. So this is awesome. Guys, thank you for the love. That's wonderful. I see it coming up here. Number 1, and these all start with A's to make it easier to remember here. But number 1 is appreciation in all things. The second one is arm yourself with a philosophy, a useful philosophy, a helpful philosophy for your life. Number 3 is add to your life. And I talked about this earlier. That's what I did when I made progress on my life and made things better. And then number 4, we're going to talk about this, of course, extensively here too, but it's acts of kindness. I call those AOKs for others, and that's serving others and helping other people. And that is the 4-part framework. And we're going to go through each part of this. Now, the first 2 of those, the appreciation in all things and arm yourself with a philosophy, that's the foundation of joy. And again, several people would say that either one of these taken by themselves would help with a life of joy. But together as a foundation, they're really going to set you up extremely well for making this a habit and making it a part of your life. So that's that. And then the second part, the second 2, by adding to your life and making your life better, which a lot of you already do, and we're going to talk about that, and the acts of kindness for other people. What those do is they create momentum in your life, and they make your life better. And becoming a better person and doing better things and serving more people, I will tell you without a doubt, and it's been scientifically proven, that will create a lot more joy and happiness in your life. So I'm excited about this. So let's start about appreciation in all things. And this is the one that I'm probably going to spend the most time on because I think it's the most important part of cultivating joy. And this is something I think that's wonderful, and the chance that the choice that we have to do this. And our quality of life is determined by how appreciative we are. And think about that. You've seen kids that don't seem to have anything running around in third world countries just super happy and laughing and joyful, while we here in the United States or the developed parts of the world have every single amenity known to mankind. We literally live better than kings of old. We have a better lifestyle. Even those that are poorest among us often have amenities that kings could not even have dreamt of a few centuries ago. And yet, as connected as we are, there is still a lot less joy. Now, you can answer me on this on the comments or anything else. Does that ring true for you? I mean, to me, that's true. And I think a lot of it is because we don't appreciate things the way we should. All right, there he is again. That's Hal Elrod, our leader of the community here. And that's him without hair because he had cancer. And think about this. This is what he says. People who regularly practice gratitude experience more positive emotions, feel more alive, sleep better, express more compassion and kindness, and even have a stronger immune system than people who don't regularly practice gratitude. We're going to talk about that. And I can tell you, it's so wonderful being friends with Hal, as I can tell you that he is the same person behind the scenes as he is when he's writing a book or he's talking to you or if he's on stage. And he carried this gratitude with him in the most trying of circumstances. And I love this. And that is absolutely true. We're going to get a few more quotes with this because these are true. You might recognize this lady. She says, Oprah, the more thankful I become, the more my bounty increased. That's because for sure, what you focus on expands. Write these notes down. This is great. And when you focus on the goodness in your life, when you become appreciative and you become super grateful, you're going to create more of it. And I love this so much because Oprah has a lot of these. She is really good at her gratitude game, and I love that. This is also what she says. Be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more, If you concentrate on what you don't have, you'll never, ever have enough. Remember when we started with Robin Williams? He had it all and it wasn't enough. That neural adaptation that I talked about earlier, you get so accustomed to the things in your life that you don't appreciate them and you don't have gratitude. So this is all really important here. Now, in our lives, we have so many blessings that we often become numb to them and take them for granted. I just said that, of course, but we don't have to take them for granted because we can have a consistent way to remind ourselves to be thankful. I'm just reminded, I saw a video once of a guy that woke up in the morning and he wakes up and there's a big bow on his legs. And like he wakes up and he's like, yay, I have legs. I can't believe this. And then there's a bow on his wife and he looks over and he's like, hey, wow, I have a wife. This is fantastic. But see, those are the things that we get numb to each and every day. I mean, what a blessing it is. And people would have to lose their legs often before they actually appreciate the fact that they have them. And that is absence of an appreciation practice, which we're about to start. So this is good. And now you may hear me say appreciation, and I say it versus gratitude. And I know, Hal, you're listening to this. I know one of your favorite words is gratitude, and it used to be one of my favorite words as well, and I still like it. But here's what I mean, the difference between gratitude and appreciation, and there's actually a step further than that. So gratitude 1.0 is maybe a little bit passive. That's like you're driving home from work and you see a sunset that's just absolutely beautiful, that just takes your breath away. And because it's there, you think, oh my gosh, what a beautiful sunset. Thank you, God. This is wonderful. Thank you so much. Or if you're at a restaurant and a waiter brings you water, thank you so much for that. That is gratitude. And that is gratitude 1.0. And it's just, you think about it and you thank something or someone when it happens to you because it's passive. And oftentimes it's waiting. And it also comes from the word gratis, which means free. It means free of value or whatever. And that is gratitude 1.0. Now, appreciation, and this is actually what I'll call active appreciation. What's cool about that is it's proactive. And it's where you go out to meet all of the things where they are. Like gratitude, you kind of wait for them to come to you. Like on active appreciation and the practice that we're about to talk about is you go out to meet all the things where they are. And what's cool is it can be engineered. You can do this and you can create it at any time you want. And you can do it now. You don't have to wait on anything. And then the last part about this is the things you appreciates and value. And that's one of the reasons I love that word so much. And if you think about this, if you truly appreciate the relationship you have with your significant other, with your spouse, and you appreciate that relationship, then that relationship grows in value. So this is great. Hey, Shuris, the video is a game changer. Thank you so much. This is wonderful. I'm glad you're appreciating this and you're liking that. But now, actually, let me show you this. There's also a gratitude 3.0. And this is something I just kind of realized this year. And it moves beyond active appreciation. And I'm calling it divine cherishing. I may come up with another name for it here. But what that is that's actively appreciating it all. That's everything. Even the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad things in life. Because think about this. If you're appreciative of the good things in life and things are going well for you and everything is going awesome in your life and you have momentum and things are fun, that appreciation and appreciating those things, that's like lifting very, very light weights in the gym. That's, 1 pound dumbbell that you're just, lifting up and down. Hey, this is easy. This is great. Now, here's where true appreciation and the work come in, is when things are not bad. Or when things are not good and they're bad and they're horrible and things are not going well for you. Like we just showed Hal when he had his cancer, he was still appreciative. He's still like literally pretty much the most grateful person I know. And that is when it makes a difference in our soul. That's when we become stronger and when we become better people because we are appreciating it despite everything. And that's number one is to create active appreciation and to appreciate it all. So here's some more good news. Are you ready for good news? Gratitude 3.0, that divine cherishing, it can be cultivated through conscious endeavor. So I'm about to show you how we can do it. And that is consistent practice. Okay, it's not enough to do it once, but you do it a lot. And when you do it a lot, it makes a big difference for you. And this is where we get started on the actual practices to help add joy to your life. Okay, and again, I hope you're taking notes on this. There will be a replay of this, so you can come back and watch questions for it. And I forgot to mention this, but I will give you at the end of this, I'm going to give you a link to where you can go and you can download the slideshow for this. So you can take it, you can make notes with it and help with that, but I'll give you that to you at the end. The first practice that we're going to talk about is the Wayne Dyer practice. This is what he has to say. Without exception, begin every day of your life with gratitude. As you look in the mirror, say, thank you, God, for life, for my body, for my family and loved ones, for this day, and for the opportunity to be of service. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I actually saw the Wayne Dyer practice. And if you like any of these, please give me some love, light it up with some hearts, and let me know that you appreciate this. But I watched a movie with Wayne Dyer, and it showed him getting out of the bed in the wee hours in the morning. And the first thing he does, and I do this in my life, and it makes a difference for me. It's just a habit now, is when his feet hit the carpet and when mine hit the carpet now, the first words out of my mouth and out of Wayne's mouth were, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you do that and you get into that habit, you're going to start your day on the right, in the right way. And that's fantastic. And of course, that is the Wayne Dyer method. Now, here's another one, and this one is real important. We're going to spend a little bit of time on this. Yes, Wayne is awesome, Kishore. That's fantastic. This is the morning active appreciation practice. And hopefully you have a journal. If you're part of this group, you probably do, and that's great. So this is what we do with the active appreciation practice. And I can tell you, I do this myself, and it's made a huge difference in life. And that is first thing upon waking, maybe after you do the Wayne Dyer, but I put my journal next to my toothbrush. So I physically have to move the journal before even being able to brush my teeth. So it's there. I set myself up for success. And I write down, first things first, the 3 to 5 things that I actively appreciate in life. And I'm about to show you a framework for doing that, which has been really awesome for me. But again, that sets the tone for the whole day. And Cindy, yes, Wayne Dyer is awesome. I love his work. The more I find out about him, the more I love him. And in fact, I have a friend who was very good friends with Wayne Dyer. And just like Hal is the great person behind the scenes, Wayne Dyer was as well, which is great. I just find that so comforting when heroes of mine are the people that they seem to be on stage, which is really good. But getting back here to the consistent appreciation, the 3 to 5 things you appreciate. A lot of people have heard of a gratitude journal, but this actually starts you in appreciating, and it sets the tone for the day, and it opens the mind. And I think I have it written down here, but it puts up your appreciation antenna, so you start to notice the blessings throughout the whole day, which is just awesome, and it just helps out so much in life. And now here's how I do it. And of course, you do it in the way that helps you. Now, these are my practices, and I'm not saying that this is the way. I'm saying that this is a way. And I want you to try it because, again, it's made a huge difference for me. But maybe the first thing that I usually put down in my 3 to 5 things I appreciate is something big and profound. I think about that. Like the other morning, my son crawled into bed with us, and I heard him breathing. And I looked over at his sweet little angelic face, and I mean, it just seized my heart. And I looked at him, and I was so in love, and I'm so in love with a life and a God that would give this child to me and make me his daddy. And I write this down, and that's one of the biggest things I say. I am joyful. I am happy in my heart because this boy lives in my life, or that I hear my wife breathing, or the fact that we have the freedom and dignity of human choice, that we are living in a time now where human freedom is the norm rather than the exception. Throughout much of human history, our lives were determined by someone else, a king or someone that held us in servitude. but we get to go out and we have that awesome, that blessing of love and of freedom that we can do whatever we want to do with our lives. And those are the big and profound things. And here's the thing, like when you're searching for it, when you're thinking about those things, it's awesome if it takes a little moments or 2 or 3 for you to think about those things. Because when you're searching for the things to appreciate, that's when the lifting is done. You know, to go back to the gym example, when you have to search for those things, you're lifting weights and you're becoming more appreciative each and every time you write down something. This is fantastic. Now, the next thing I'll write down is the smaller, often taken for granted things in life. And I'll give you some examples. Like one morning, I remember this morning, I'm like, you know what? Warm water. Holy crap, warm water on demand. We turn on the warm water and bam, there it is. And again, kings did not have this, you know. King Henry VIII, you know, guy, too bad, so sad. You didn't have this, but we do in our country. This warm water is such a blessing. And then I've also thought about things like the engineers that have made the tires on my car safe while I'm driving in the rain. Because I was thinking, I was driving and my family was with me and we were safe. And it's because these engineers take time and efforts and energy to become the best at what they do, so our family is protected. So that's awesome. Then I think about an obstacle, a challenge, or other quote unquote bad thing in my life, right? And when you can be truly grateful for those, then you are acing life. You are having a fantastic life. And I also think about past things that have happened in the past that I really love. And I'll write those down and just bring that to mind. It makes me smile and it's wonderful. Yes, Cindy says air conditioning. Yes, air conditioning. That is a fantastic thing, especially in the summer in Texas where I am right now. And here's the other thing, future things that haven't happened yet. I can tell you this morning, I was appreciative and grateful and super happy that this presentation went very well. And here's the thing, you do not have to delay joy in your life. You can do that. So that's it. And then your life. So that's just a framework that I use when doing it. And I spend a lot of time on this because I think it's really important. And I also do this before I go to sleep at night. I write down, one of the things I do is I write down the wins for the day, things that I did. Benjamin Franklin calls it, what good have I done today? I do that, but then I also do appreciation at the end of the day. And I call it my appreciation bookend. You do it in the morning when you can control things, and you do it at night when you control things. And when you do that, for me, it closes the loops in my head and it gives me a better night of sleep. And my mentor told me this. He said, fear and anxiety can't live in the same head at the same time as gratitude. So if you're worried about things, if you replace that with appreciation, it's going to make you feel so much better in life. That's awesome. Yes, Melinda is taking notes. That is a great thing to be appreciative of. Here is another method for developing appreciation in your life. Yes, this is a picture of my sandal. It's a king sandal, and if you see that bright circle in it, that's actually a dollar coin. And I have that in there. Of course, I slide it up to the front of it, and I put a coin in my shoe. And the reason is this, is you never, ever, ever get used to a coin being in your shoe. I've been doing it on 4 years now, and I still feel it move, and I still, and every time it moves, it reminds me, it's a trigger, and just boom, just like that, it triggers a moment of mindfulness to be used however we like. And whenever I feel that, that moment of mindfulness, often for me, it is a moment of appreciation. And you can choose whatever that is for you. It can also be that your actions show the love, show love to other people, or whatever that is for you. So this is awesome. So I recommend that you try that, at least one of the ideas. Another one is the phone alarm for appreciation. Now for me, 7 o'clock, if you look on the right-hand side, you will see I have a ton of alarms. I use my phone like crazy for that, just to keep me on track and remind me, check in with my planner, to check email, to talk to my sister every Friday, because I found out if I don't set that alarm, I don't talk to her as often as I should. And if you see down there, 7 p.m., It's kind of short, but it says, "I am so very blessed." And at 7 p.m. every night on my phone, Louis Armstrong sings "What a Wonderful World." And here's my practice. And again, I've been doing it for years. My kids kind of roll their eyes at it. They know all the words to the song because it plays so often. But when I hear that song, I go from whatever state I'm in. And sometimes, I'm not as grateful as I should be, or I'm caught up in the moment of whatever I'm doing. But when I hear that song and that alarm goes off there, it brings me back instantly to a place of extreme gratitude and appreciation and divine cherishing. And I'll close my eyes, assuming I'm not driving, and I'll just feel what a miracle life is. And I internalize that, and it just makes such a huge difference in my life. And now, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this and checking this out, what I'd recommend for you is go ahead and set this on your alarm. Don't wait for it, but put an alarm that goes off every single day, and it just reminds you to appreciate things and to be grateful for things. All right, another thing is appreciation meditations. If you're doing the Miracle Morning right now, yes, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, that's a great one, Laura. Whatever song that sets you off and makes you happy, that's what you use. Appreciation meditations are awesome. Now, these are meditations that you do that are just regularly scheduled. I do this. This is 5 minutes of my meditation each day. I have 5 parts to my meditation, and this is one of them, is appreciation, a deep appreciation. And there are 2 ways you can do it. One is a stream of consciousness. So you just start thinking about all the different things that you are truly appreciative of in your life, like different people, different circumstances, different things, like your parents met the way that they did, so it created you as a person, which allowed you to meet your spouse and create a new person that happens to be exactly like they are. And then you keep going from there, and you think about all of the different things that you appreciate and that you love. And then there's another way of going through that. Well, of course, that's the free flowing, but then you can also do the deep dive. And I didn't write this down here, but write it in your notes: deep dive appreciation. And what I do with that is I think about one particular thing. Like the other day, I had an argument with my daughter, Allie. So the next morning, I set her up as my appreciation. And I thought about her and all of the blessings and all the wonderful things that I could appreciate about her specifically. And I deep dived into that for 5 solid minutes of just remembering her as a baby, and remembering when my wife and I talked about the possibility of having her. I've also thought about other things. I often regularly think about my job now of helping Hal out and being the chief miracle worker, and how much I deeply appreciate that. And just if you concentrate on it and think about it, and again, what we said before, what you appreciate appreciates in value. So that's a way to do that. And I'd recommend doing that. And we're about to talk at the end here about how to put this in your life. Now, folks, I see we're actually coming up on an hour of this so far. So this is going to take longer than I thought. The good news is this is being recorded and you can come back to this. But I definitely want to get through with this because, again, it's one of the most important things we can do. So that is another method of appreciation. And here are some other ideas, just ways to develop consistent appreciation in your life. Loving hugs with people that you love, 20 seconds or more. Hug your spouse, hug your children, hug your loved ones and your friends for 20 seconds or more. The relationship appreciation. Like you can sit down and you can write out or just consciously think about all the things that you love about particular relationships you have in your life. A loving kindness meditation, we talk about that, and that is where you receive love from those in your life while you're meditating, and you give love to other people and think about how much you love them and how much they love you, and you think about it. And then here's another one that I love is prayers of thanks. Like if you're sitting down to a meal every day, thank God or thank the universe if you're more comfortable with that terms, or thank the animal or the plants that gave everything so that you can have that meal. But if you're thankful for it and you do that several times throughout the day, all of these things will develop that consistent appreciation in your life. So there we go. That is appreciation. Woo! Spent a lot of time on that. Now, number 2, and these will go a little bit faster as we go through these. But number 2 is arm yourself with a philosophy. And I didn't realize this until this year. And this has made such a difference in my joy each and every day. It has put turbochargers on it. And just really quick, I'll mention it. But I used to have a joy inhibitor, and like part of me in my life, I would be appreciating a moment because I am a deeply grateful person, and I say that humbly because I've worked really hard at it. And I would like appreciate, say, if I was out playing with my kids and I see them laughing and I think to myself, oh my gosh, could it get any better? And I'm feeling that joy, then just boom, like just like a horrible lightning bolt, there's a part of my brain that would say, you know what, buddy, this too shall pass. You know, you're going to die at some point, and this piece of joy that you're experiencing right now is finite, and it's going to end, and it's not going to last. So, you know, maybe that helped me appreciate that little moment, but really what it did is it sucked all the joy out of the moment for me. And as much as I was appreciating it, that limiter kind of kept me from being as joyful as I could. And that's happened until I developed this philosophy, and I armed myself with it. And Lisa, I hear this. Yeah, if y'all are wanting this, again, I will give you a link at the end of this that I'm going to have cheat sheets on it and checklists for it. And I'm going to be able to send all of that to you. But here's the philosophy. What this means is develop and use a framework of thinking that makes everything make sense to you. And it's a philosophy that works for you. And I'm going to give you my philosophy, something that I work, but you're going to come up with your own way. And now your philosophy is your operating system for life. Okay? And this is the way to do this. So it's how you think about things. And it needs to be a useful way to think about things. And it's not necessarily true, but definitely useful. And here are a few of mine. Here are a few of mine, which again, you don't have to agree with. That's completely fine. This is your philosophy, and it's your life and your appreciation practice with this. So, hey, Diane, thank you very much. I love y'all commenting on this and thanking me. I am feeling that. But here are my philosophies, and I find them extremely useful for me. Now, John Lennon wrote this. I didn't actually realize it was a John Lennon quote until today, but this is one that I heard a few years back, and I love it. And that is, everything will be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. That is a philosophy that I take with me each and every day, and I love it. And when I think about things like children starving or the Holocaust going on, and think about all of those things, if I didn't have a philosophy to help make sense of it like this, like everything's going to be okay in the end. And for those folks, these are things that we can't see or know as mere humans, that what's going to happen beyond that. But I choose to believe that it's all going to be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. But actually, I went a step further with this. And that is that we replace the word okay with divinely perfect. So the quote from me, and this is what I take with me and I put in my affirmations, is, it will all be divinely perfect in the end. And if it's not divinely perfect, it's not the end. So again, that is an example of a philosophy that you can arm yourself with to have more joy in your life. Okay, that's good. Stella, that's completely fine. I'm sorry this is going on a little bit longer. Thank you for your patience, y'all. But I'm hoping that this is helping. Now, number two, this is another philosophy that I have here, and that is that we have a loving God. Now, I'm not trying to push religion on anyone. And in fact, if you're not comfortable with the word God, you can use universe or anything else that you like here. But this is, again, a philosophy that I have that makes sense of everything. And whether or not that's empirically true, it's proven to me to be very useful. And just like what I said before, that joy inhibitor that I had in my mind, that this moment is finite. You know what? Now that I think that there's a loving God in my philosophy with it, that it makes me think that there is so much more to this world than we know. Our five senses are exquisitely inadequate to know everything that there is to know in this world. And I love that because there is so much more that we never think about, that we never do. And also because we have a loving God, we are spiritual beings having an earthly experience. And I actually choose to believe that we've all chosen this earthly experience, that we're divine beings that have chosen to go through life like we have. And again, that philosophy helps me, that it arms me. So this is really good. And then this part is very comforting to me, and when I think about the things like the Holocaust or whatever, this kind of helps it sit in my soul. And as disturbing as something like that is, the fact that to me there is a loving God, they wouldn't give us the thought of a heaven and then deny it to us, because that's not something in my mind that a loving God would do. So there is something better beyond this. There's something better for the people that have suffered, and that this is temporary in those cases. And in my case, where I had that joy inhibitor thinking that this too shall pass, you know what? It's not the end. That moment is something I can relive again and again and again, because there is a concept of heaven. So this is something that I love, and that philosophy has truly, truly helped me. Another philosophy is amor fati. This one made a big difference in my life, and literally it means, it doesn't mean love faith. Oh, it means love fate, F-A-T-E. So if you're writing notes, it's love fate. And what that means is love it all, good, bad, everything. I remember learning about that. I remember being cold and locked out of my car, and it was raining on me. And I started laughing because I remembered the phrase amor fati, love it all. And it made that situation so much better. And again, it brought out the joy in me, even in a bad situation. And I remembered that. So that is another useful philosophy. And the last philosophy I'm going to leave you with, the left side of here, this is Mother Teresa. And this is something that she says, people are often unreasonable and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of ulterior motives, or what's worse, they'll be really nasty to you and ugly to you, and you won't deserve it. But you know what? I'm going to be kind anyways and show them love. And people may cheat you, but I'm going to choose to be honest. That's what Mother Teresa talks about. And guys, you're welcome. Glad for this. But on the right, this is me, and this is why I thought of arming yourself with this philosophy. Because if you think about this every morning and you do it as part of your miracle morning practice and put it in your affirmations, then you will remind yourself and know that people will be mean, unkind. They're going to treat you unfairly. You're not going to deserve that. But you know what? You can choose to love them anyway. And you can choose to have that philosophy. Because for me, I want to always remember that everyone I meet is fighting a hard battle. You've heard about that before, and that's very true. I try to remember that no matter if they're being a jerk to me, I'm going to remember that they're fighting a hard battle, and I'm going to choose to respond versus react. And again, that is a philosophy that does really well. So that is part 2. And now part 3, and this is the part where you create a lot of momentum in your life, and it's where you add to your life. That's the third A. So each day you do something to improve your own life. And you know what? If you're watching this and you're in the Miracle Morning, yes, you already do this. So I love the Miracle Morning. I hope y'all do too. This is good because you are doing something every day to improve your life. And if you started the Miracle Morning, you may have noticed that you had more hope and you had more optimism going into things because it added to your life. Now, I read a book called Choose Yourself when I was in my depression, and it told me to do something physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually good for myself. James Altucher wrote that, and it just allowed me to check off every day that I did something physically. Even for me, initially, that was a 10-minute walk. And mentally, it was making idea lists. And emotionally, it was not hanging out with emotional vampires. And spiritually, it was doing an act of kindness, which we're going to talk about soon. And it was also doing gratitude lists and things like that. So that is an example of things to add to your life. And we'll go a lot more into this. This should be really familiar to you. The Savers, doing the Miracle Morning, yes. Silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. When you do that, you're creating momentum in your life. And you will be a much happier person. You will be filled with joy when you do that because you're making progress in and of your life. And I'm not going to spend too long on this because as Miracle Morning practitioners and in this group, y'all have this down, which is awesome. And these are some of the things you can do. You can exercise daily. You can meditate daily and get really good at it. Here's one I love doing: taking walks often, sunset and sunrise walks. You can read something to improve your skills. You can journal for improvements. I talked about idea lists here. Idea lists are coming up with certain ideas like ways I can make my spouse feel more cherished, and come up with as many that we can do. I mean, this is fantastic. So those are idea lists. And you might have heard of Marie Kondo, the life-changing magic of tidying up. If you tidy up your life and clean up things, you'll notice you feel better. It's because you're improving your life and you're making progress on things. And that is what you do when you add to your life, the third A there. And here's the thing. When you do it, you make yourself better. You have progress from yesterday. You're not comparing yourself to the shiny, happy people of Facebook. You're comparing yourself to yourself and making progress from yesterday. And the thing that's really important is consistency, is doing it each and every day. And something I physically have had for many years, and it's helped me so much, is at the end of the day, I have a checklist that I can check off at the end of the day that says, I've done something better for myself this way and that way or whatever. And when you do it, it creates dopamine. It makes you happy that you're doing it. And again, you're going to feel momentum in your life when you do that. And now we are finally at the fourth thing for cultivating joy in your life. And again, it begins with A, it's acts of kindness. And some of you are actually in the group right now. You're on an acts of kindness challenge with me. And this, in my honest opinion, is what life is all about. So that is serving others and helping others. And the cool thing about this is we are wired for kindness to each other. We are wired to help other people. And that's why it feels so dang good when you help someone else. When you help someone with their life, you will help them feel better, and you yourself, for helping them, will feel better. And I call that human fusion. It's one of the most wonderful things in the world, because love is the thing that multiplies and is exponential when you give it to other people. And that is just such a phenomenal, awesome quirk of humanity. And you know it because you felt it before. But what I want to do is engineer and have these acts of kindness every day. And we're going to talk about that, because when you do an act of kindness, it increases, right? This is, hey, Janice, you're in there. That is an awesome challenge. And I know you're feeling good because you're in it. I mean, I've been trying to do the AOKs for many years, and it always makes me feel good. And I almost take that good feeling for granted. But it's a wonderful thing that you can do. But when you do the acts of kindness, it increases the love hormone, oxytocin. You feel closer and you feel connected with the others of the human race. And we are connected on a level that we're designed as human beings to interact with other human beings and help them. And personally, I think that's why God made it feel so dang good to help other people, so we would do it often. When you do an act of kindness, you increase your energy. If you take your focus off of yourself and put it on someone else, your energy will increase. Your happiness will increase. You get the oxytocin, of course, you get serotonin, you get dopamine when you do it. Your lifespan actually gets better because it helps you with your immunity system. It helps you with the aging process. You don't age as fast. And also pleasure. It's again, that's dopamine there, and they call it the helper's high. When you help someone and you know that you have helped them, it's something that will make you just feel so much better. And Diane is asking, will this be available to review the live presentation? Yes, Diane, it will be. That's my bad for taking so long to go through this. Although I'm starting to reach the end here, which is really good, but this will be taped. And if you sign up at the end of this and you watch this, then yes, you're going to get the replay on it. And you will also have a link to this slide presentation that I have. So I'm about to do that. So this is good. And then the last part, serotonin, it heals, it calms, and it produces happiness. Conversely, the acts of kindness will also do wonderful things to decrease your pain. So if you show kindness to another person, you produce endorphins in your body and you feel less pain, which is awesome. You lower stress. Your cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone, which is like fight or flight type of thing in your body, the stress, that will all be lowered because of kindness. Depression is lowered. And in fact, when I started doing these practices, I did resolve to do an A-OK a day. And I remember very specifically laying in bed, not wanting to get up, and my inner critic was kicking the crap out of me that day. And it was like, it was saying to me, who are you going to make a difference to? And I thought, you know what? I am going to make a difference to at least one person today. And that got me out of bed, and it made me feel awesome that day because I knew I was going to help another person. And then it also lowers your blood pressure and makes you healthier when you do acts of kindness. I mean, again, we are literally wired to be kind and to do acts of service for other people. So the practice is this, an A-OK a day. And consistency, once again, is paramount. Once you do it consistently, it's going to become part of your life. Your empathy, your sympathy, your ability to connect with other human beings will be improved each and every day that you do this. And here's the thing, you are able to check it off each and every day, that you can say, I did an A-OK today. And you can check it off, increase your dopamine for doing that. So here are a couple of examples of acts of kindness. They can be big, they can be small, but the big thing is that you can say that you actually did it. For me, a lot of times I'll get to, going to bed close to 9 p.m. and realize, oh my gosh, I haven't done an A-OK. Yes, Laura, here are the examples for you. I will text or call friends just to let them know I'm thinking of them, saying, hey, you are an awesome human being. I'm so happy to be your friend. And of course, you're being completely genuine, but you're doing it because you are doing your acts of kindness. So here's good. One I find myself doing a lot is picking up trash after other people, because someone is going to have to pick it up. And when you do that, you feel like you're part of something bigger, that you're helping other people. Contributing to charity and causes. Volunteering, oh my gosh, it's such a big deal. One of the things I love doing, and I feel awesome when I do it, is stopping by nursing homes and talking with people that are lonely there. Tony Robbins challenged us to do that at the end of one of his courses. I heard it and did it, and I felt so amazing for doing that. And honestly, I've met some people that were so sad and lonely, and I was able to talk with them and help them out. And it just made me feel so good that, like, literally I went to my car and I cried tears of joy because I felt good for being able to help them. And it also made me appreciate my blessings and the fact that I do have people to talk to. But when you volunteer, that is like one of the very best A-OKs you can do. Here's another one, just actively listening, right? A lot of people don't, and for volunteering, someone, Blue, you're asking where. You're asking where for the kindness challenge. That is if you search for A-OK in the Miracle Morning group, you'll see a post on the Acts of Kindness challenge. And that's growing. I think we have 700-800 comments of people posting acts of kindness they've done, and it's really, really awesome there. And actively listening to another human being. I mean, my gosh, we all want to be treated special. So that's something we can do. We can also donate money to causes that we believe in. And then just the fact that you're doing an A-OK and you're planning on doing it, it keeps your kindness antenna up. So you'll look for places where you can be a blessing. And the cool thing about life and the serendipity of it all is that you will be able to bless other people with your acts of kindness because they will appear. And yes, it can be as simple as holding a door, but here's the thing on it too. If you're doing an A-OK, it can't be something that you would already do. Like if you're cooking your kids breakfast, you can't say, today my A-OK was cooking my kids breakfast. No, you already do that. This is something you can check off that's in addition to your normal behavior. So that's what an A-OK is. Okay, now we've gotten there. You've gotten the 4 parts of it. And now it is time to put it all together. And how do we actually bring this and bring it into our lives? Okay, and this is the fun part, because this is what changes us. This is what makes us better as human beings. And this is what brings that joy into our lives and into our hearts, into our soul. And it moves us from being happy to being joyful. And that's putting it all together here. To change our lives, we have to change our behavior. So the key to cultivating joy in our lives is to actually do these practices consistently. And I know we all know that. And it's information is not power, it's just potential power. It becomes power when you do it. And here for me, I had to make it systematic. I had to make it easy as I could to add to my current schedule, or I wouldn't do it. And I'm about to show you kind of how I do that and how it works out in my schedule and the way it can for you too. And here's what you can do is pick one or more from each of the 4 to do each day. So an appreciation, you do an appreciation practice, or you can do more than one. You can arm yourself with a philosophy. Think about a philosophy for the day before you go out. You can do it with adding value to your life. You can do that, through your miracle morning or through physical activity, whatever we talked about, but you can do one of those from each one, and then also your act of kindness. And keep a checklist to measure your progress each and every day that you can check off. Yes, I did my A-OK. Yes, I added value to my life. Yes, I did my appreciation practice. Yes, I armed myself with a philosophy. And when you check those off, it makes you happier by stimulating the dopamine in your mind. And you're going to feel great by doing that, which is awesome. So here are some examples, and this is to integrate it with the miracle morning, which hopefully you're doing. So for the practice of appreciation, add as your scribing practice in the morning the 3 to 5 things that you're appreciating. Make that your scribing and do that. That's an example of how to integrate this. Number 2, arming yourself with a philosophy. Add it to your affirmations. An example is, I choose every day to respond rather than react, and treat every person I meet with love. Let's think about that. If you write that down as an affirmation and you read it to yourself every morning, let me ask you, and you can answer me here, will that change your behavior? And the answer to that, of course, is yes. That's good. Yes, Locke David, one of my favorites. Be kind whenever possible, and it's always possible. It is. That right there, that's a great philosophy to arm yourself with, which is really good. Adding to your life, add something you don't already do as part of your miracle morning. Like I had mentioned the idea lists earlier, I can tell you those changed my life. They changed my income. They made me an idea machine, and I love doing that. And I'm sure we're going to talk a lot more about that in the Miracle Life Mentorship. We'll have more courses on it, and we're going to have more content coming up because I am the director of that. So we're going to make sure that that happens, and I'm super excited about getting this to you. But tidying up, sunrise walks, oh my gosh, do that each and every morning without any electronics. And I promise, just even that will change your life. So this is great. Thanks, y'all. Thank you for the yeses. And Gladys, I appreciate that. Thank you very much for your kindness there. And then the acts of kindness for your miracle morning. Pray for others. When you have your silence, think of other people in your life. My grandfather, I called him Peepaw. He was a Baptist minister, and he was one of the most godly men I've ever known in my life. And at his funeral, something another human being said about him was that he was the least arrogant person that they had ever met. And I love that. But one of his practices was that he prayed for everybody in his family and his extended family by name each and every day. And I was always comforted by that because I knew at least one person was praying for me. So that's wonderful. So you add those acts of kindness. You can pray for other people. You can add that loving kindness meditation we talked about. For your visualization, you can help. You can visualize yourself helping other people, and of course, put that into action. So y'all, thank you so much. I appreciate the wonderful comments coming through on this. I'm so happy. It is my honor to share this with you. I mean that sincerely. So we are like near the end here, okay? I've gone on for a long time. I hope this is still interesting for you. You're still getting a lot of goodness out of this. But you remember at the beginning, we talked about the commitment. And you promised me at the beginning of this that if some of these made sense, then you would try it. And I'm hoping that that's still up. So what I want you to do right now, if you have your phone with you, if you have your calendar with you, open them up and put joy practices into your calendar. And you can come back to this video. You can come back to your notes. You can look at it, and you can actually practice these joy practices. You can do those appreciations. You can arm yourself with a philosophy and find those philosophies that work with you. I mean, these are all things that you can do, but I want you to schedule this right now, because if you don't, then the law of diminishing intent will ruin this for you. You'll think, oh my gosh, this is great, and then you'll go another month without doing it. So do this. You made the promise, you made the commitment that if it made sense, and hopefully it does, that you would at least try this. And here's what I will offer to you. I told you about this at the beginning. If you go to joypractices.com, I am going to have available there some checklists for you, some things for each of those 4 practices that we have. So you can like literally make copies of them and check them off and do that. And there will be cheat sheets available for it, so you can keep all your notes in one place. You can laminate them. You can do whatever you want to with it. And just so you know, I don't have those copies yet, but I will add those. It'll probably be tomorrow. But when you sign up there, you will get those. And one of the first things that you'll get is when you go to joypractices.com, right now you will get this slideshow presentation that I've done. So I hope that that helps you out. So just go there, sign up at Joy Practices, and you'll get all of this. And then the last thing, let me ask you here, and this is kind of why I'm doing this, of course, to help make a difference in your life. That is really it. That's the biggest thing that we want to do. But I want to ask, I mean, and you can answer me so in this, and some of you already have, thank you. And that is, was this helpful? Like, do you think and feel that you can use some of these practices to make improvements to your life? And I hope that answer is yes. But in this question, are you better for having gone through this workshop, for learning this, and hopefully not just learning it, but starting to practice each of these in your life? And if the answer to that is yes, and this is the kind of thing that you like, then again, I want to tell you about the Miracle Life Mentorship. And that is what I am developing along with Hal. And it's literally having Hal, mainly, and me to another degree here, is we will be in your ear and on video with exercises and challenges and thoughts and stories each and every week to make this a part of your life, to make this improvement part of your life, to do things like the joy practices, and Hal teaching you exactly what he eats to have such incredible energy that he has, and different techniques and ways to make your savors better. We're going to go through all kinds of different things. We have 12 different modules for the whole year to make your life better in every way. Things like money and abundance and becoming a person of value. And I'm designing all of this right now, and I tell you, I'm like just bursting at the seams, because I really wish that we could, that I had all this going out. And this is the biggest thing. And in fact, someone just did this. Yes, Margaret, you said your biggest enemy is consistency. And that's what the mentorship is all about. It is to put this into your life in a consistent basis, because we did a survey of everyone in the Miracle Morning Group, and that was the biggest thing, is how do I continue to do the things that I should do, that I know to do, but then I don't do it. And Hal and I have been putting our brains together for that and helping with it. And that is one of the very first lessons that we talk about in the mentorship, and the practices that we give you to help change your life. And what's exciting about it, this right here, if you go there now, it's just to sign up for the waiting list, because we're doing a beta of this program, and we're trying it out. We're limiting the number of people in it because we want it to be intimate, and we want it to get feedback on what we're doing right, what things need to change. So it's great, and it's polished, and it's wonderful, and it's extraordinarily helpful before we open it up to the masses. So this is it. So I'm going to put this in there. Go to Miracle Life Mentorship and sign up on the waiting list, and you'll get all the information as it becomes available. And I can tell you again, it's going to be something that's really inexpensive for the value of what you're going to get for it. And I'll just let the cat out of the bag and tell you it will be less than $1 a day, and actually much less on our beta program. And some people, if you sign up for the yearly program, it's going to be substantially less than that. But Hal and I wanted to do this to help make changes in your life, to change the behavior, to change the schedule, and to do that. So if you go to miraclelifementorship.com, sign up for the waiting list, and we'll get you information as it is. Hey, Lock David, that is awesome. You have an Amorphi T-coin. I have that too, and I have also put it in my shoe. So that's fantastic. So that's great. So please sign up for that if you're interested. If you're not interested, that's completely cool too. We're going to continue providing free value on this and things like this, but we're going to go even deeper with the Miracle Life Mentorship because I mean this sincerely. Dion, you go to miraclelifementorship.com, but Dion, you're part of the Quantum Leap Mastermind. Anyone that goes is part of the QLM will get this for free. It's something that's going to be added value for what you do for being a part of the Quantum Leap Mastermind. But for everyone else, they'll need to sign up for it. And Diane, the Joy website to get all of those is joypractices.com. I was kind of surprised I could even get that domain, but no one had taken it because no one talks about practicing joy and making it. Hey, sweet wife of mine, she just joined this, so she's looking at it too. So y'all need to comment on it and say that this was helpful and that it was really good so she can see I'm kind of good at my job sometimes. So anyways, Miracle Life Mentorship, sign up for it. And then if you can, if you don't mind doing this, if you can put down in the comments what made the most difference for you, what resonated with you, the thing that you're going to try first, the thing that you're adding to your life. If you can do that and put it in the comments, one, it's going to make me feel really, really good, just for knowing that maybe I had a little hand in helping you lead a better life. But the other thing it's going to do is for other people to see it and see what you're doing and act as an inspiration for them. So thank you so much for this. I am so appreciative of you. I thank you for your time. I don't take that for granted. And it is my honor to be the Chief Miracle Worker and to help bring this to you along with Hal. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for being a light of humanity by practicing the Miracle Morning and doing this. I love you, even though I haven't met you. So thank you for what you do, and God bless.